Hello and welcome to another episode of Aufsu. Today we're going to continue our series about the Internet of Things, and joining me in the zoo today is Anthony Orr. Welcome back to the zoo, Anthony. Oh, look at that handsome man.
Thank you, Alf. I like being in the zoo. It gets kind of crazy in here sometimes, because of all the animals and everything. So, oh, we're the animals. I keep forgetting. Okay.
We we are indeed. We are indeed. We were at Pink Elephant this week, just returned from there, and there was a lot of discussion about the Internet of Things, and that is an underlying theme. But when I push people and when I try to find clear answers, and this is why I'm enjoying having you here, because I believe you can find these answers for me, it's a simple question is, how are we going to connect all these billions of things? How are we going to manage?
Well,
Let's start with the connection. How do we get it all together?
well, the connection part is easy because of emerging technology. Have you heard of IP version 6? IP version 6 makes all this possible because of the number of email addresses and IP addresses that things can have. So everything that you can think of can have an IP address. There's even one company that's developing a little device that you can stick on, like that picture you have behind you, and it can have an IP address if you wanted to assign it an address and know its location, or however you wanted to play around with that and so forth. So IP version 6 really enables the Internet of Things. Before IP version 6, you could do it, but it was sort of limited. You couldn't sort of connect everything because of the number of IP addresses that we really had, and where the protocols and stuff worked. So that's the connectivity part. And because of this, Alf, everybody wants something connected, including themselves. When you see the wearables and things like that.
So, with a simple technology like IP6, is it going to be a good analogy? Is when we started with Wi-Fi networks, and so just 10 years ago, you had to go to a library and get books on small networking systems before you could rig it. Today, my grandma can just buy a box, plug it into a wall, and she got Wi-Fi in the house. How easy is it going to be to connect all the things in the world?
Well, the connectivity is easy. Almost everything now is becoming connected. You see, refrigerators are connected. Your car may be connected. I bought a new car recently, and it has internet access, and no matter where I'm at, anybody who has access can know where I park my car, where I want, and things like that. Your telephone has an IP address. All these things are connected automatically. Now, if you're a developer, that's sort of another challenge, because then you get more into the techie language and everything else, so you can take advantage of simplifying things for us, the end users, for connectivity. Almost everything's connected.
So with a new protocol in place, it's going to be easy, and with the evolution of new tools that rolls out, they're just going to have this built in. It's going to be a no-brainer that you want to have some kind of API that allows whatever device you build, whatever thing you build, to be able to reach out to others and communicate. But
Yep, there's this hardware innovation that has happened with IP version 6, and the way the devices are changing to take advantage of it. That's what's revolutionizing the rest of the stack. So the applications that connect to it, and the infrastructures, and everything else that's going on today.
what about managing it all? How are you
Now,
going to
now,
make sure that all these things are running all the time? As I keep bringing up the people and they don't seem to be at all upset with this, but we can't run 1,000 laptops without problem. We can't run 10,000 servers without problem. You talk about billions of things that's supposed to run perfectly, and we all know that this whole default failover, it's not really working that well. So how do I know that when my life becomes connected, that it is going to run smoothly?
well, you don't know that. That's why. No matter what, Alf, and we were talking about this, I think, a couple of days ago, saying that everything needs support. So when you think about technology like ours around Remedy Force, and everything, imagine everything that you manage and monitor, that you create this hyper-connectivity for, now needs to be supported. So now you can support it through sort of traditional principles through new technology, because the technology is changing to support this also. And what do I mean by traditional principles? Well, when you think about that, for example, event management. What event management does today, it's really, it monitors. It's a monitoring side to it, so that you can monitor devices, look for particular events, and based on when those events occur, maybe there's an issue I have to solve. I could open up an incident ticket. Maybe there's a problem, or I could open up a problem ticket. Or maybe I need to change something. I could open up a change ticket. But then I can go further now with those events, and maybe, or just like we were doing in the event management system, start to federate that type of data to other databases like the CMDB, and create the CMS and the SKMS, so I can make decisions better. Now, if you follow that model, that what's already in place, these principles are already there. Like I said, you follow the DIKW model, which says you take data, you transform it to information, information to knowledge, knowledge to decisions. So when you transform data to information, you may just look at, for example, the interrelationship of two devices, and you can see a conflict or something like this. Oh, I have information to make a decision. Or you may look at trending over time. Now you get more to the knowledge area. So based on these trends and what's been going on and the decisions I want to make, whether it's a personal decision about my health with all the devices now that have IP addresses and stuff, around my waste and monitoring my well-being, I can make better decisions about myself. Maybe a vendor who connects into that can help me make better decisions about myself. Or maybe I'm trying to make more business decisions between people and other people within the environment. So now I can connect all this stuff and do trending and make even better decisions based on how the hardware, going back to the foundation, the hardware and the Internet of Things, is helping to enable this whole community of hyper connectivity, so we can create more collaboration and more coordination between all this stuff that's going on around us. So I'll stop talking for a minute.
No, I think you're actually onto something, that you can't just connect it all and hope for the best. You need a methodology to manage the volume, the enormous volume of data that's coming, to learn from it, right? It is truly big data, and Internet of Things seems to go hand in hand quite well.
Yeah, and don't forget the other thing I said. Almost everything at some point in its life cycle needs support.
Yep.
And what does, like I said, our technology do at the end of the day when you think about what IT service management is about? Support and delivery. We want to deliver the service, we want to support it through using incident, problem, change, and everything else. So those core things are there already. And now they're being enhanced as it relates to these new capabilities we have at the hardware layer for all this hyperconnectivity. So the support stuff is not going to go away. It probably even be enhanced more, and so that we can find out stuff, or what here's a term for you that I haven't told you about: zero moment of support. You know how a user, for example, let's say you're having a problem with one of your devices that's a part of the Internet of Things. You say, oh man, I'm having this problem. Let me call the service desk. Well, maybe before you call the service desk, we already know, because we're using event, like I said earlier, we're using event management better. We're monitoring what's going on. We know what your expectations are from the usage of those devices and in your lives and in your business life and so forth. So we say, oh, based on this and based on the trending and the hyperconnectivity and our ability to correlate all this information, like from the big data perspective, into the right data for decision support, we can give you support before you even know you need the support.
Yeah. Now we're seeing some of that predictive or cognizant behavior in tools like Google Now and so on. But and I keep pushing on this point because it's a gargantuan leap from what we see there to what we see in a day-to-day IT management team. And by that, and you know this fully well, and it goes for everyone who's in IT, we ain't automating anything right now. We're barely automating incident tickets. You are asking about us, the same people who likes to have maybe 2 or 3 processes automated, to build a Star Trek spaceship. It's a big jab. What will drive this? Is it user? Is it competitive advantages? What happened? What will happen?
Now, what drives success, based on what you just talked about, is understanding your roadmaps and quick wins and your outcomes that you're trying to get to, and how process architecture works together with the technology architecture and the organization's, architecture, the way that, and so forth. So you create this collaborative and coordinated, way of delivering this service. A lot of organizations, like you said, sometimes they look at all that stuff and they say, wow, let me just keep doing what I've been doing. But in today's environment, they cannot do that. They have to change their way of thinking. And as it relates to their outcomes and their maturity when they're working and so forth, so they can contribute more and become higher performing and become more agile to all the latest trends and stuff, so they can take advantage of them. And when they start taking advantage of these things, what they're going to see is that they're able to deliver better services to their customer, which is the reason why they exist in the first place. So that's what's going to happen. So those organizations that are listening probably to this recording, and they say, man, Internet of Things, that's way out. That's that Star Trek stuff, that people are talking about. Nope, it's here now. It's stuff you should be thinking about as it relates to the services that you deliver and the way you support your services, and then make sure you're aligned with technology that it's not just good enough to process an incident, but can take you beyond just processing the incident to doing intelligent ticketing, integrated with monitoring, have more collaborative and coordination, aspects to it, the way the technology works and integrates together and so forth, instead of just siloed solutions. Because we know siloed behavior, siloed mentalities, and saying that, man, this is too much, and all these other issues that we see really don't help us, with our outcomes and help us perform better. Or if organizations even think about economic value, it doesn't help us make more money. It doesn't help us deliver more services to the markets that we try to serve and so forth.
And I wanted to ask you that. Can you provide a concrete example how pushing a better connected, or an Internet of Things mentality into an enterprise will help them perform better in a real world? For example, could miners find more diamonds in the soil by being better connected?
Let's look at it first from a real simplistic perspective. Very simple. When we think about what technology does to our processes that we use on a day-to-day basis to deliver and support services, what does it do? It enables automation, which improves performance. So it takes you from performing to becoming higher performing. So now if you look what the new technology of the Internet of Things has done, for example, let's pick an industry. Let's say I'm a company that takes oil out the ground. And now everything's internet enabled, so I can monitor, I can look at trending, I can understand the availability, the capacity of my infrastructure better, I can put in continuity things, so based on the monitoring and events that are going on, be more proactive instead of reactive, tie that into the person experience, maybe them using iPads and mobile devices, as they do their daily work. So I'm automating all these things, which, like I said, if you go back to the basic premise behind what this actually does, it's going to improve performance. So instead of that person, again, like I said, making a phone call and saying, hey, there's an issue, which you probably will do on some things, but I can improve, I can increase the overall scope of what I'm automating now within the environment. So I can overall make things higher performing.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. We're going to continue this series, and Anthony, I'm sure you'll be part of it because there's so much to learn. I think we've stumbled upon not yet another innovation, but something that will shift how we do business and how we live our lives a little bit to some degree. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
And last, one other environment that I sort of want to talk about just a little bit is healthcare. Imagine the Internet of Things within the healthcare environment. Because one of the major issues within healthcare is mistakes. And automation helps, if you do it right, helps eliminate some mistakes that people will make. So you have consistent behavior within the environment. So if the environment is hyper-connective, and you can do monitoring and event management and all the trending and stuff, more than likely you probably can save some patients' lives at the end of the day.
Yes, and then that goes back to the gap I was talking about. You'd be surprised how many ER still uses whiteboards to keep track of their people, even though there are computer systems in place. So, but I think we can all benefit from this. And healthcare is an
Sometimes they lose people and they lose kids. You know?
I know. It's bad.
Or
But
they
you
get
can
them
only
mixed up.
I
They get the
know.
people mixed up, you know?
I
So,
always wonder how the heck they amputate the wrong foot. So nowadays you have to sign your name on the foot that's going to get cut off before they go. I was like, come on now. It can't be that hard to
oh,
remember.
gee, you know. Yeah, come on, making things more location aware, using augmented reality with the Internet of Things like that, especially in a hospital environment, could just be unbelievable as it relates to healthcare, you
Yeah.
know?
All right, so I said this
Especially
is,
eliminating mistakes
it
and
is.
improving performance.
It is a paradigm shift, and I would hate to use that phrase, but this seems to be the tool we need to get out of the old way of doing things. And the way the world is moving right now, we can't go down the same road. So I find it interesting. Thank you so much, Anthony. I really appreciate your time.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Looking forward to the next one.
Always, always. And for the rest of you out there, take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.